these are two different examples of a newsletter, and I want you to think about which is a more interactive and fun one for the audience to read. This is the first example. This is sample one. I am pretending my audience is English 1110 students, sending a weekly newsletter about important and upcoming things. Now, when we think about design, we've got to think about the audience. And this is a more traditional design. It's got its section headings, it's got interactive links, it's got some photos at the bottom that aren't quite efficiently used. I'll argue that. But in general, the design of this is still professional and it's clear and it uses the design principles that we're learning about, of course. But the issue with it is you got to think about your audience with the newsletter, and it doesn't have to look like a legal document or like an assignment guidelines document for a class. I want the students to have fun with the newsletter. If I was sending this to students, I would encourage them to read the newsletter, right? Newsletters are to intrigue the audience and keep them interested. Of course, like I said, it depends on your topic, and sometimes a simple black and white design like you're seeing here is more efficient. So you've got to ask yourself who your audience is, what type of organization you're representing, of course. But if we think about, hey, I want this to be an interactive newsletter to encourage students to read, this sample is not going to do it fully, unfortunately. So just so you can compare, just so that I encourage you, especially if your topic allows it, to not be afraid to use design. This is the exact same information. This is sample 2, but it has more color, it has graphics, it's got links still, and it still has section headings. It's got the 3 section headings: reminders, what makes a good peer review comment, upcoming workshop. Those are all the exact same size, design, and style. So that's important, so that it's not too out there and not too unorganized. And all the subtext is the exact same size, design, and color, again, so that it's not too out there. We don't want it. That's where you can have fun with design, but you can always think about how consistency can keep it still very organized. Even if you have a more out there design like this one, consistency brings it all together and reminds us of what information goes where. And it still has alignment where everything's aligned to the left. The section headings are aligned with each other as well. And the title is larger and stands out, uses order. Order is a design principle. Order of, hey, this is first, catching your attention. So I just wanted to show this video so that you can compare the two. And that at the end of the day, it truly depends on your topic. There's nothing wrong with a minimalistic design, but ask yourself who your audience is. Who your audience is in terms of how you write it too. I had a student represent, she was pretending she was a food blogger. So she used, and her audience was social media users. So she used a lot of internet slang in her newsletter, and that's okay. You're allowed to, if that's your audience. It truly depends on who your audience is. So let me know if y'all have any questions about designing this project.